All right, let's talk about the basic must-knows for purchasing an acoustic guitar. So this is just going to cover, we're not going to go into too much depth, but what you're going to learn in this lesson is going to help you walk into any store and make the best purchase. When I'm instructing my students to purchase a new guitar, I typically tell them there's 2 or 3 things that are the most important. First off, how much money do you have? If you have $100, it's obviously going to limit you in what you can do. $500 or $1,000 or $2,000, all those different tiers are going to allow you to play a lot more instruments and have more breadth of possibilities. Okay, so first off, you probably have a dollar figure that you can afford. I would say get that dollar figure, and if you can go just a little bit above it, then sometimes you can eke into a guitar that may be a lot better for you just because it was a little bit more. Okay, not always the case, so don't let that be the main variable. It's good to know how much you want to spend before you go into a store, so you're not talked into something that may not be a better instrument. So know your price. That's the first thing. The other 2 really important things are feel and sound. Okay, so if you remember 3 things from this lesson, it's price, feel, and sound. Okay, don't worry about brand names or anything like that. Those are things that do matter, but what matters most are those 3 things. Okay, so let's say you walk into a store and you have $500 to spend on an acoustic guitar, and they're talking to you about woods and everything else. Forget that for a moment. Okay, that's higher level stuff that we'll get to eventually, but I want you to take $500 and go into your store, your local store, and play any acoustic guitar that's in your price range. Okay, now there may be hundreds of them, so obviously you don't want to play them all, but you want to make sure that you give each guitar in that range a chance, because you may pick something up that's a no-name. Not that this is not a no-name, but you may pick something up that's a no-name and it plays great, okay? And then you may pick up, a Gibson or something wonderful, and that guitar is just not set up right, okay? So really important to try those in the different ranges, or in your range, okay? Feel, let's talk about that for a minute. So on an acoustic guitar, you have different body sizes. This is a jumbo body. There are parlor size, which are much smaller than this. And then you have dreadnoughts, which are your basic kind of country and western looking acoustic guitar. Okay, the ones that are slightly smaller than this. Those are your 3 basic types. So you might want to, if you're a smaller person, a jumbo guitar may be too big. Just feel is going to be really important. So put it on your lap, see how it feels. If it's too big, move on to the next one. The string action is also important. So you want to make sure that it's not too high, so that when you're playing your chords, you're having a problem. Okay? So action is really important. Tone. When you're playing it, make sure, if you find 3 guitars that you love and the fits right, and you like the way it looks and the price and everything's in your range, all that good stuff, then make sure that you get a guitar that sounds good. You may say, well, I don't know what sounds good. That's okay. Then go with your gut, okay? Because really that's what it's about. If someone has to tell you this one sounds better, then it's probably going to be so small, or it's going to be something that you're going to have to develop in time. So go with what makes you happy, okay? A little bit more detailed is when they're talking about woods on guitars. This is known as the top of the guitar, the sides, and the back. And so depending on what the wood is, it's going to resonate louder. It's going to have a nicer tone and that sort of thing. So make sure that when you do check out your local store and talk to your folks there, have the salesperson educate you a little bit about it. That's what they're getting paid to do. So have them educate you a little bit about the difference between a plastic nut and a metal or bone nut. the thickness of the neck, the types of woods, and all that good stuff. Don't be afraid to ask questions. And bottom line, when you walk out of that store, if you're going with an acoustic guitar because it has a picture of a rose down here and not because it feels good or sounds good or plays good or all the above and is in your price range, then that rose is not going to look so good in a few months when you just hate your guitar. So make sure that you really take the time and go with what your gut feels, because chances are you're going to be happy with that instrument. All right, let's learn about choosing an electric next.